All right, all right. So listen, man, I'm hopping right into it. First, I want to welcome you all to the Social Experiment Show. We've been running this for 2 years now. We just got back started. Our last episode we did was with Coach Andre Henderson. And I also plan on continuing to bring guests on here, continuing to ask different people about things that they have going on in the community, some of their passion, some of their drive, and different things of that sort. But I have made an announcement that I plan to run for city council in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I thought it would be a good idea to utilize this platform to, give people the opportunity to come on the show, ask me some questions, and just kind of gauge their interest as far as some of the needs that they may feel that Erie needs, and again, like to do it to gauge the interest of the people, to see what they feel is needed, and then to see what their expectations of me are and what their questions of me are. So y'all gotta excuse me. It's my first time getting interviewed, and the first person I got to interview me was Angelica Spraggins. I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself because I'm sure she's full of plenty of credentials, and I don't want to ruin anything or nothing like that. So I'm gonna invite her in. But thank you all for staying tuned. I want to thank every person who shared the post when I made the announcement as far as me running for city council. I appreciate every single person who signed the petition. I appreciate every single person who was interested in floating the petition. All the encouraging words that I received, like it's been overwhelming. Honestly, I was shocked and I was taken back by the feedback and the response. And I didn't want to go without saying that or mention that because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm ungrateful or anything like that. So thank you all again to every single person who has sent me a message, who has shared a post, liked the post, commented on it, had a conversation about it without me being present, people floating petitions. Like, the support is felt, like the love is real, and I truly appreciate it, and it's not going unnoticed. So thank you to everybody who's played a role in me getting a petition signed. I've submitted 241 signatures, so we will be on the ballot. We're continuously getting signatures. We're going to turn in as many as we can get, but I'm not going to take too much time talking. So I'm going to bring Angelica in and allow her to introduce herself, and we're going to get this thing started.
How
So
you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. First and foremost, is it cool? You want me to call you Angel? I didn't know if it was, like you want me to say your whole name or
Call me
okay,
Angel.
cool. All
Yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah.
So, I want to thank you for being interested, taking me up on my offer, to be able to have this conversation with me, ask some questions. I'm pretty sure, you got some heat for me. We didn't have some conversations before in the past, and we like sat there for an hour going back and forth. Your thought, my thought, your thought, my thought. So I figured why not have you be one of the people and the first person to actually take part in this. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. I see you got some credentials over there after your name, some letters. I love to see that.
Absolutely. I always put my letters behind my name. I paid too much money. It took too much time to earn them. So
Hmm.
uh, I, I want to start the whole conversation by just saying thank you for considering me to even ask these questions. I know we've had some really good conversations, you and I, whether it was at a cigar bar or just in passing on social media. And I think you know me, and probably a few of the people that are watching know me and know that I don't really subscribe to things that I don't bang with. And so this is me showing you support for your run. And I have a lot of hope that you actually will win, right? Like I really do believe that you have a chance to win. And so I'll introduce myself. My name's Angelica Spraggins. I am originally from Rochester, New York, born and raised, Rock City. I went to Edinburgh for my undergraduate and graduate degree. I'm currently an LPC, so a licensed professional counselor. I own my own business, my own private practice. I co-own it. Um, I co-founded a nonprofit. Most of you probably watching this know Erie's Black Wall Street. So I co-founded that probably I think we're at 7 years ago. Um, I think I have a lot of things that I've accomplished in life, but what I'm most proud of is what title I'm most proud of, I would say, is partner to my beautiful wife. And so uh, I think if you know anything about me, if you know my wife, that's pretty much sums up who I am in one person. So thank you for having me, Deontay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, and kudos to you for all your credentials and all your accomplishments. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a great thing to see, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best moving forward and all your endeavors and everything that you have going on. Um, I don't know how you want to kick this thing off. I'm pretty much pass the
Yeah,
ball to you. It's your show now. I'm sitting here. I'm a guest for you to
yeah.
whatever
Well,
you got
lucky
for me.
lucky for you, my profession is asking questions. So let's get it popping.
All right, all right.
All right. So I think the first question I have for you, and I think, as I'm asking these questions, I want the people watching to take heed to these questions, because these are not just questions we should be asking Deontay. These are questions we should ask any public official running that wants our vote. So keep that in mind as I'm, asking some of these questions. Um, First one I got for you is simple. Why are you running for city council?
Okay, this is very interesting to me because I don't consider myself a politician. You know what I mean? Where I didn't like to consider myself a politician, but I have a lot of concerns for things that are taking place in the city of Erie. I have learned a lot of things over the course of my career or along the course of my life, as far as like how things work around here, having different people have a involvement in my life, and just knowing that there's a certain demographic or a certain population of people who are being missed when certain decisions are being made, and we're not aware of the information that is being passed along. And I'm privy to that information. And I'm not a type of person to just sit around and complain without action. So I felt like in order for me to be able to be effective in the action that I feel needs to happen, why not put my hat in the ring and see if I can get involved in the room with the people who are making the decisions and speaking for me, who don't come to where I hang. And this is not a, no knock to anybody or anything like that, but it's just the places and spaces that I go, I really don't see local elected officials, and a lot of young people don't see them either, to where it's just kind of like, what about us?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I like that. I like that. So I think that takes me to my next question, which is, kind of what you're talking about, the young people that you're trying to make sure they have a clear window to their opportunity. So in your run, or even once you get elected, we're going to use that language, positive
There we
thinking.
go.
Once you get elected, um, what do you think are some things that you can do to bring new voters, bring those young voters, bring Black and Brown voters, not only to the polls, but give them the information they need so that they can vote with appropriate knowledge and appropriate information?
So I think the most important thing is to listen to them. That's something that I learned for me, was just like being able to have conversations with different people and allowing them to, they allowed themselves to listen to me to understand what I did know as well as what I didn't know. And then taught me about some of my ignorances or my lack of knowledge and my lack of information. So I feel like it would be important for me, like as I'm running and as I'm campaigning, and even up to the point of being elected, is that I actually listen to the people to see if their needs or concerns are something that can be addressed, and if they aren't, be able to explain to them and articulate to them why, that's not an issue, that's something that city council addresses, but then also offer them resources in order for them to have the support that they're looking for with the problems that they're bringing up. So I think like when people are listened to and they know that you're listening to them, they feel more comfortable, even if you can't solve their problem at that point in time. So offering yourself to people, hearing what they have to say, and then teaching them the process of local elections, teaching them how things work within their own neighborhoods, within their own communities, kind of like bringing the national election and the national politics to a smaller level, and getting people to understand how important this run is, how important their voice is, how important their vote is, because I want people to one thing I do want people to understand is that the local government, they make decisions for us for where we live.
Mhm.
And for those people who are making decisions for me, I'm not sure if they visit the places that I do visit. So the people who I would like to come out to vote, the people who I encourage to be involved, are the people who I see on a regular basis, people who I
Mm.
involve myself and interact with on a regular basis. And I'm not putting myself above anybody, because the resources and the help and the support that I'm seeking for the people of Erie, I'm also one of those people who need help as well. I just feel as though I'm willing to put my face out there. I'm willing to put my name out there to be able to say, hey, we need help, myself, including we. When I say we,
Mhm.
and then bring the resources to all of us. And then even if it's me allowing myself to be the guinea pig, or me finding people who are saying, hey, I'll do the work that needs to be done in order for you to show me and prove that this really does work. I think just listening to people, encouraging them, and empowering them to understand the importance of their position within the local government, and empowering them and informing them of the jobs of our local officials.
Yes, that's excellent. I like that you emphasize how historic this run is, because how I'm looking at it is I've been in Erie for a decade and I have not seen a lot of millennial Black men in positions running for city council, for county executive. And so I think, like you said, you're not coming from the spaces that most of our political figures are coming from. And I think that's so important, because if we're going to support our community, I'm a firm believer in we have to support those communities that are not receiving the services, and then it'll automatically help the rest of us. So I like that you said it's a historic run, because it is. It definitely
Absolutely,
is.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree. It's kind of nerve wracking, but
Mhm,
it's I understand the importance of
mhm,
it. And it's bigger to me.
mhm,
It's not about me. You know what I mean? So even
mhm,
like getting those people involved, like I need
mhm,
people to understand that as well. Like it's not about me getting into a seat and then me waving a wand or pushing any buttons and magic happening. It's
mhm,
about me getting a seat, me coming to listen to people when they speak about their concerns, with us
mhm,
discussing their concerns, and if when we come up with solutions, me bringing the solutions back to the people who mentioned the concerns, and us taking action. You know what I mean? Like it's not just going to
yes,
be okay.
yes.
Deontay's in there now; he's going to fix it. It has to be more of a these are the problems. Are there any solutions, and what work needs to be done, and then us doing the work together. You know what I mean? Because we all need help, but we all have to do the work. And then I want people to understand that too. Like the way that I'm going about it, or I'm not even gonna say the way that we are going about it is this is new to me. You know, I've never been a part of it. Well, I did assist Mr. Horton at
Mhm,
one point in time, but as far as campaign runs and stuff like that, so I don't want it to look like I'm being
mhm,
puppeted by any other politicians. I don't want it to seem like I know everything and I'm coming straight out of the book. I want people to realize and notice that there's a demographic and there's a generation of people who are tired of just being told what to do, and we may not have it all
mhm,
figured out, but we're willing to come together. We're willing to put our necks out there and say, hey, we don't know everything, but we're here to learn, and we're not backing down, and we're asking questions now. We're not just taking no for answers anymore. So it's like I want it to be about all of us. I'm just willing to be the person to put my neck out there, but I want people who
mhm,
really have concerns, who speak their minds, even on social media, to come forth when the time is needed, when the time has come to be called, to let's go and let's just
mhm.
do the work.
Let's go. Let's go. I remember you said in one of your previous shows on here, I'm knocking walls down, or doors down, or something to that effect. And you said, listen, you're gonna follow me through it. And I think that's what this run is. Like, another, I'm knocking this door down, I'm moving this out the way. Are you guys coming with me? And I think that just feeds back into that, how historic it is, and how most of the way that you navigate is to make room for other people. And I really have a lot of respect for that. So I think that brings me to my next question. How would you characterize your leadership style?
So, I mean, it's crazy. So, I just completed the master's program at Mercyhurst University to kind of be able to put more terms on the style of leadership. And thank you.
Hmm.
And as like
Hmm. You're
reading them,
welcome.
I like to consider myself to be a servant leader, to be a
Hmm.
person that's of the people, supporting the people, pushing people in the right direction, motivating people to be better. Because then when
Hmm.
people understand the power that they have, they encourage
Hmm.
other people. So you're able to deliver a message through people to empower them, from in the crowd with them and not standing over top of them, not leading and telling them which way to go, but standing amongst those people, being of those people, listening to their concerns. And because I have access to maybe some more resources, or I have access to different rooms or different people to be able to make those connections, actually utilizing myself to
Hmm.
serve the people that I want to lead, because I don't want to lead. I don't want people to just follow me and do what I do. I want people to follow the information and advice that I have to offer based off of facts, based off of proven resources and availability of resources to be able to change themselves. Because when
Hmm.
people feel appreciated, when people feel acknowledged, when people feel empowered, they do better. And then when they do
Hmm.
better, they spread the news and they tell people how they do good things. So if I can serve the people and push and point them in the right direction to where they can be better, and they can brag about those things, and they can do the exact same thing for other people that I did for them, I just see it all as just like trickling down and compounding or blowing to where we're all just helping and supporting one another, all because somebody was willing to say, hey, here's the information, here's the knowledge, and let me lead you in the direction to get the solution. So servant
Yeah.
leaders, being amongst the people and helping them however I can.
Yes. It reminds me of teaching a man to fish, right?
Absolutely.
Versus giving the fish. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then even like even organizing and stuff like that too. It's
Hmm.
interesting. I have the Last Supper tattooed on my forearm. And I
Hmm.
got this tattoo a long time ago. And like what it reminds me of is like I understand that there are other people who may be relying on me to eat. And
Hmm.
I can't make it happen all on my own. But what I can do is say, hey, bro, do you got 2 fish? Hey, excuse me, ma'am, do you got 3 loaves of bread? Hey, my man, what do you have? And then when we all start coming together, we bring our
Hmm.
loaves and we bring our fish. I may only have one loaf, but the person with 4 fish is not going to make me feel bad for bringing my one loaf. They're going to embrace me. And when I come with my one loaf and somebody comes with more, so it's a reminder every single day that, like, if you can encourage people to get along with people, to do the right thing, and that legitimately build a community, you can build it, you can grow, and we all are able to walk away with more fish and more bread than what we came with. So it's important to me to, like, empower people, to empower other people, as well as be able to make sure that you're eating for yourself. But don't eat everything. We don't have to eat alone. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to be stingy. And because you have knowledge, resources, and information, you should give those things back to the people who you know need them. I can't do everything with all of the knowledge and information that I have. So it would make no sense for me to not pass along what I have or what I found about or any resources that are available.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we need more leadership in general, and that's not just in Erie. We need more leadership that is willing to be transparent and to make sure that the information is getting to where it needs to be. Because the more information we have, the more valuable our vote actually is, because we're voting with knowledge versus, like you said, following whomever has told me to vote.
Right.
Period. Okay. So if you are elected, when you are elected, how do you plan on staying connected to the community in order to serve the needs of those people that you feel need the most support?
So as far as like staying connected, I'm not, this is not about me. You know what I mean? So it's bigger than me. I just feel like if not me, then who? So just continuing to be who I am, continuing to be active in the community, continuing to solicit local businesses, continuing to volunteer when I'm called upon, or going to the schools to speak and things like that. And another thing that I believe is very important, I was having conversations with people about this today, is we all will say, well, people will get on social media and they'll complain about the stuff that's going on, but they won't go talk to the people that need to be spoken to. But here's my
Mhm,
perspective and my take on it. When I get into the city council, you have to take that information. It's still data. And if we live in a data-driven world, there may be 100 people complaining all day on social media, but 10 of those people may be making some valid points that need to be addressed. And if I
mhm,
see these things, it is not my job to tell them, oh, we'll come to the meeting and tell me. It's my job to take action or to take a look into that. So being able to interact with the Erie community that is on social media that won't come to a meeting, and actually, I'm not saying go back and forth in the comment section, but just scrolling and reading and seeing some issues and some concerns and bringing them to some of the people that I'll be working with once I get in council to say, hey, these are some things that need to be addressed. Maybe people aren't coming down here to say that, but these are the things that need to be addressed. And also another thing is, even when like we talk about getting people to come to council meetings, I've said this to different elected officials, is like, you called my phone when you wanted my vote. You knocked on my door when you wanted my vote. You brought me this petition when you wanted my vote. You asked me for donations when you wanted my vote. So if you want me to come down here to this meeting, call my phone, knock on
yeah,
my door, invite me publicly like you did when you had all your friends calling my phone and all of that. So I'm a type of person to where the way I'm going to stay active and involved in the community is, I feel like I'm going to hold the people accountable who asked for the results, for who asked for things to be better. But when I say hold them accountable, here's the game plan. This is how we're going to solve that issue. Are you down? Are you willing? I'm calling you, bro. I heard what you said. I brought it to some of my colleagues. These are some of the solutions that were discussed. You didn't come to the meeting, but I'm calling you to let you know these are the steps that you need to take. And if you don't take the steps, then I'm going to let you know you truly aren't concerned about this. And I feel like that's something that we're lacking as well. And that's why I said, like, I didn't like to consider myself a politician, because I really don't want to tiptoe around words. I really don't want to be a passive person and play games with people to get them to
mhm.
understand what the message is. But I'm also learning now that my delivery is not received the same from every person. So learning to treat people as individuals, as opposed to just treating them like common folk that understand exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. I think that component of just remaining who you are, right? Because I think we can get inundated when our positions change,
Hmm.
when our roles change, when the access that we have to power changes. It shifts something sometimes in people. And so I like the fact that you're just like, I'm sticking with what and who I am already, because we need more politicians that go in as human beings and they remain human beings as politicians.
Absolutely. And I want people to hold me accountable as well, because like I said, like, this is about us. So if I'm not doing the good, because it's been times where I go to the council meeting, school board, and I call them out like, yo, you're not doing what you said. So if I'm one of those people that's not doing what I said I'm going to do, hold me accountable and then help me. You know what I mean? Make it better or make it right. By no means am I perfect. By no means am I better than anybody. By no means am I out here acting like I'm doing all of this all on my own. Like, this is for us. I'm just feel like we need somebody to put their face out there. We need somebody to put their reputation on the line. We need somebody who's willing to say, hey, I'll be the person for the people as long as the people are willing to support me, and I need the support of the people. And when I say that, it's like, I've been getting tagged in different posts now, and then I even felt like I've been running into familiar faces and places that are familiar to me but are unfamiliar to them, to where it's like, now I know I need the support of the community to literally like keep me straight, keep me safe, go to bat for me and all of that, like, and not in a violent way or anything like that, but just have my back. You know, there's times where I got to make a phone call and, hey man, I got to get this off my chest. I can't publicly say this, or I need you to have my back. And I'm legitimately am asking for support of anybody who signed my petition, who's folded my petition, to just make sure that, check up on me. Like, I be doing so much, I be all over the place. So I need the help and the support of the people, because this is not, again, it's not about me. It's about all of us. Anybody who's concerned, who wants to see something different happen.
Yes, and it is a marathon. It's not a race, so we got work to do. And I'm gonna use we too, because, like you
Thank you.
said, it's for all of us. Um, so I think that brings me to the next question, which is, you know, a lot of us, like you identified previously, are really good at identifying problems. Some of us are good at speaking on the problems. Some of us are actually good at problem solving. But what are some of the resolutions, or what are some of the needs that you believe would help improve Erie once you get into that city council seat?
So for me, like, some of my thoughts, I mean, again, these are my thoughts. I feel
Mhm,
like we need to have more resources available in our community for the people who legitimately are prepared to utilize those resources, without having to jump through so many different hoops and so many different channels. Um, an example I'll give, let's say, for instance, I'll just use me and you, for example. Let's say, for instance, you want to start a business. I want to start a business. I have my business registered. I have everything going on to where I have all of the tools that I need, and you don't know anything about business. And let's say we go to a city council member. We say, hey, are there any programs or resources available? I don't think it would make any sense for me or someone to send both you and I to the exact same program. If you're a beginner and I've got a year of experience, and all I need is some money for some tools, or I need some money for the van, or it's just some jobs. I feel like it should be individualized to where, okay, there's a treasury or there's some type of funds available to where maybe we don't distribute it all out to everybody who gets it, and we hold some for our citizens in Erie who just need a little bit of financial support. You know what I mean? They don't need to go through an 8-month program or go through the SBDC and then go through week after week after week, because some people can't afford to take that time off. And then on top of
mhm,
that, why would I send you, a beginner, to the exact same program as me, um, who I'm advanced and I just need a little help? It would be taken away from my business, as opposed to investing in my business and allowing me to give back to my community, and to have, like, to play a role in the economic impact that we're trying to create around here. So I think community resources for individuals who are truly want to be something and who are seeking help should be able to reach out to some local officials and get directed to places and spaces that don't take you the long route, if you don't need the long route. But if you do need the long route, it should be available for you as well. And I also feel like, as far as like people within the community, we need to get back to where, how do we figure out how to understand like a bartering system or like trading within the community? This is something that I've been, saying to a lot of friends, and some people might get mad about me for saying this publicly, but you can buy a plot of land, like there was a repository sales for $250, right?
mhm,
So something so simple as parking. In the wintertime, people's cars get boots on them or they get plowed in. Imagine if everybody in the neighborhood put in 50, if you get 5 people per block, put in $50, buy one of those plots of land, they put in to make it a parking spot. In the wintertime, we park in there so the plows can come through, or, when alternate parking, so we don't get caught. Now we have a community or a neighborhood parking lot. Those community gardens, you can put those in those repository spots where those places of land are. If people
mhm,
within the community would start coming outside, talking to their neighbors and figuring out how they can help one another, it might be a way for us to be growing vegetables right in every other block, to where we don't have to go to the farms all the time, or we don't have to spend all our money on these things. But I feel like just simplifying some ideas, and even like public safety. So when you think about public safety, the police are there to protect and serve, but it's our neighborhood. Like, having neighborhood watches and not necessarily making it look like community policing, but getting back to understanding who your neighbors are, and then having supports in the neighborhoods. Like, now this is far fetched, and this may not happen within a year or even 4 years. But I was
mhm,
having a conversation with somebody, right? So think about it.
Mhm,
There's community centers all over the city of Erie.
mhm,
So imagine if we in the city invested in, let's say we bought 4 plow trucks per community center, and we got people in the neighborhoods to volunteer to drive the plow trucks when we had these snowstorms. So when the street workers is doing the big streets and we all stay in these side streets and these back streets, okay, we need 4 solid brothers to walk down there to the Booker T. Washington Center and go get the keys. The trucks is already loaded. They gassed up. They got salt. All you got to do is go plow the side streets.
mhm,
Do it out of the goodness of your heart. Imagine if, for instance, the Thanksgiving situation when people's trash wouldn't get picked up. Imagine if we had community dumpsters and we had people to drive trucks around the neighborhood to pick up trash for people who couldn't afford to sit that week with 10 kids in the house with Thanksgiving dinner in the trash can. Just little things as far as like getting people in the community to kind of understand the importance of building relationships, establishing relationships, and helping out one another. And then housing. The housing market is kind of all over the place, and I think we do well. There are people in Erie who are doing well with helping people buy properties. They have the Erie's Black Wall Street had the program, then they had a first front door program and stuff like that. But I think a lot what's missing is that you go through the steps of teaching somebody about credit. You go through the steps of teaching somebody about working a job 2 years and all of that. But what about being an actual homeowner? Like there
mhm,
is no landlord. You know what I mean? Like that hot water tank go in the middle of the night. How often are you changing your furnace filter? You know what I mean? Like, are you checking the
mhm,
pipes? Stuff like that. So I feel like it needs to be like some type of transitional how to go from renter to homeowner, and then even like how to be a good tenant. So there are resources that are available and there are funds that are available that just get distributed out because it's what we always did, as
mhm,
opposed to actually listening to some of the citizens who live in the city of Erie who can't get the help that is supposed to be available for them because there's too many hoops that you have to jump through and there's too many hands that are telling you go here, go here, go there. I feel, and I could be wrong, and that's why I said I need to support the people. I feel
mhm,
like there should be some type of funds available downtown to where some citizens, if you come in and prove that you have the credentials to be able to obtain these funds to set your business up that's going to provide back to the city of Erie, you should be permitted to be able to do so. The community garden things, even like buying those plots of lands and turning them into garages. Like, I mean, like imagine, like I used to be on 7th Street all the time. That's a one-way street. You have alternate
mhm,
parking, and sometimes some people got 2, 3 cars in their apartments. Imagine if there was a vacant piece of land in the neighborhood said, okay, we all buying this. We're gonna lay asphalt here. We're gonna put some street lights up here, and this is where you park when it's wintertime. $25 a month per household for anybody who got a key card to come through. That money goes back downtown, so then that way taxes are paid off, safe parking, and all of that. So I just feel like it's a lot of small, simple things that we overlook because everybody wants the big picture to be filled. And I think just from having conversation with different people in the community and being able to present these ideas would be very beneficial as well. But I can go on and on about
mhm.
that when I don't want to spend too much time on one topic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to that. What is it? The acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? It's that
Yes.
idea of we're overthinking our political system and we're making these huge um, changes or adjustments. And when in reality, people need housing and people need food and people need access. We can talk about installing FiOS maybe once most of our citizens are out of poverty, right? Like so
Right.
I get that idea of making it simplistic and making it grassroots and taking it back to the basics of our community.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's important to like focus on local government. You know what I mean? Because I feel like so many people, because you think of politics or because you think of government, and when you think of local, you think it's too big. So the local government should be something that's housing and managing and taking care of the community. And we need to figure out how we can get back to that by being involved, by registering to vote, by coming out and voting, showing up for the polls, by helping your fellow neighbor out. Like when it was a snowstorm, like me and all my neighbor, our block was clear. We was shoveling the street, shoveling each other's sidewalks to where even when we still do it. But like just taking care of the person next to you. And I mean, I guess sometimes mine is somebody else's business. It's a lot of people who's struggling out here. And we all know who's struggling out here. And we poke fun at them or we just watch them fall apart as opposed to just being like, let me help you, bro. Or how can I help you, bro? And I feel like we need to get to when I grew up, that was everywhere around here. It was everywhere around here.
Hmm. I feel you. I feel you on that. You know, the environment I grew up in was the same thing, right? If you ain't get fed at home, you got fed by the neighbor, you got fed by your auntie, you got fed by whomever, and I think that accountability, not just for Black and Brown people, but specifically for Erieites, right? We're not a major city, right? We're not Philly, we're not DC. We're actually just a large town. We're a
Right.
huge town. And so the ability to build community is there. And I think it's exactly what you're saying is we need to take it back to the basics of how do we make sure we're thriving all parts of our community, not just the parts that have access to the information. Yeah, so I got a couple more for you. I got a couple more for you. Um, as an elected official, how would you approach accountability? As far as the people who elected you being able to hold you accountable, if, like you said, they see, hey, Deontay, that's not what you said you was going to do. What's going on?
Legitimately, like that.
Okay.
Legitimately, like I'm open to constructive criticism. Now, I don't want people looking for me to try to attack me or to just be bad mouthing me on social media, because I'm a type of person to where, like, I want to do better. You know what I mean? So if you feel like I'm falling short, if you feel like I'm not meeting the expectation, it is your job to let me know. You know what I mean? Like, I begged you to vote for me. I begged you to sign my petition. I begged you to register to vote. I begged you to ask you, like, so at this point, like, I'm begging you to continue to, like, it's bigger than me. It's about all of us. And if our standards aren't being met, then it needs to be brought to my attention. And if it's possible for us to address and to do something about, it is. And if it's not something that's within my realm, I need to be able to communicate that and articulate that. I don't want to, like, I'm not no sellout. You know what I mean? So even if people get to the point to where they feel like, oh, he done went this or he done did that, like, no, let me know if I'm starting to look bad, or if you starting to feel like, whoa, bro, they twirling you know what I mean? You've been sitting in front of the teacup. Like, if it gets to that point, like, I legitimately want people to be able, because I feel like I should be able to do that for people. When I go down to them city council meetings, I let them know how I feel when I'm feeling away. Like, I'm allowed to. You should be allowed to. And I think people need to understand that. Like, don't be afraid of because somebody's an official, I mean, elected official, that you got to bite your tongue. And there's a way to approach me,
Hmm.
because I'm still a man. I'm still a human
Hmm.
being. You know what I mean? So don't think that you finna just walk up and put your hands on me or just disrespect me in any type of way. But you should be able to hold me accountable, and I'll open the door for that. But I'll also open the door for solutions. Like, don't just try to bring me down. Help me. What's the solution? Like, what did I do wrong, and how can I do better? Teach me so we all can grow.
Yes. I respect that about you. I know that, and I ain't gonna share the whole conversation, but I know that there was a point where you did that for me, and you was like on Facebook, you were like, "Can I call you real quick?" And we sat and we had that conversation, and I'm like, that's like the first time I think in life that someone who was not a family member or whatever was like, what's up? What's going on? And I really do appreciate that, because I think as a community, we talk about being together. We talk about loving on each other, taking care of each other. But the one thing we all kind of stray away from is holding one another accountable. It's all good when we praising each other, but what happens when we gotta redirect or support one another to do better? And so I really do appreciate that about you. And you actually live by those words. And so that's so valuable. So valuable. Um, let's see. I'm trying to pick. Okay. So I kind of asked this, but I'm specifically speaking about Black women and Black men now. So 92% of Black women and 86% of Black men voted for Kamala Harris in this unprecedented past election. So it shows the political power that Black and Brown communities actually wield. Um, how will you engage specifically the Black and Brown voters? Because I think Erie went red in the
Hmm.
largest election. And a large part of that is that a lot of Black and Brown voters who were not already a part of the super voter demographic, they didn't see the value in it. I myself have voted in every election since I could vote. And even
Hmm.
this election, I was like, why am I voting? I still did, black child guilt. But what do you think are some tools you can use to really get these young Black and Brown voters out so we can shift area away from that
Um,
red state thing?
being present, being available, being vulnerable, being willing to answer questions, and have those uncomfortable or those difficult conversations without bashing. I feel I'm a firm believer that people are entitled to their opinions. People are entitled to their feelings. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't always make it true. But you have to listen to people. Some of those people who will say, "Oh, I voted this way instead of that way," or whatever the case may be. I'm not listening to you to argue with you. I'm listening to you to hear what you have to say, so I can understand why you made the decision that you did make, and then to ask you, like, what would you like to see? I want people to feel included in this run. So when I'm having conversations with these communities, when I'm having conversations with this specific population of people, I want them to feel like when you vote for me, you actually have a say so. You know what I mean? Like when I come knocking on your door, I truly do care, and I'm not just trying to solicit votes. When I ask questions, or if I make myself available in different spaces, or when I have my meet the candidate event, or when you see me out in, I go to Walmart almost every other day after leaving the gym. You know, I visit public spaces in Erie. I want people to feel like, you know what? I believe that if I bring something to his attention, something is going to get addressed. In order for me to be able to bring something to his attention, I have to vote for him. I know that our demographic, it was nothing for me to get signatures. I love the fact that I was able to get those signatures, and I want those same people. Every person who signed is a registered voter. I want them to be sharing a link to get people to register to vote. I have to use other people in order for me to get that message across. I have to interact with different people of those demographics. Women, men, young, old, in between, 18 and above. You know what I mean? And then even talking to some younger people to encourage their parents. Say, hey, I met this guy today at my school, and these are some of the things that he said to me, and these are some of the things that I'm learning, because now it's like, hold on. Somebody came to my son's school who looks like him, who was talking to him about these type of important things. I want to meet this man. And if it takes for me meeting this, come meet me. And if it takes for them to hear what I have to say, to register to vote for me because they believe in what I have to say, because I am of them and am like them, then that's the case. I'm not trying to sway anybody away from anybody else. I just want people to understand that I come from where they come from. I am where they are. I've been living in Erie my entire life, from almost I've lived Lower West Side, Lower East Side, middle, up, all over the place, to where I understand what the community used to look like. I understand some of the struggles of different people, and they need to understand how important it is for them to use their vote. And use their voice and exercise their vote, because there are a lot of people who are not approved with what took place with the national election, with the with the presidential election. There are a lot of people who don't like what took place, and that's far away from us. So I feel like they need to understand the importance of, if we let that happen local, some of the stuff that you see on the news that you feel is impacting your life is going to hit you harder, faster, if we allow it to continue to trickle down to the local level. I'm not exactly sure how I can spread that message to every person, but I need the help of people who believe in what I'm doing. I need the help of people who believe in what I'm saying. I need the help of people who believe that the local elections do matter, to put it's 4 seats available. So to put the right 4 people in those places to be able to make those decisions, to keep our local community safe, to protect us, to unite us in the event that we may have to say no to some of those things that are coming down the pipeline. We might have to be like, we're not doing that here in Erie. Like, everybody else doing it in PA, but that's not what we're doing. And we good over here where we at. And if you come in here, you're going to have to explain to us why you're trying to dismantle what we built. And everybody should be pleased with, well, not everybody, because you can't please everybody, but people will be pleased with what we have going on here, to where it's like, well, we're going to follow our rules here until we're told otherwise.
That part. And I think the two things that I want to emphasize from what you said is four seats on city council is a resolution passed. All you need is
Absolutely.
4 votes,
4
right?
votes.
4 of 7. Yep. And so that is how important this election is. It's the difference between getting something passed and something sitting there, or something not being passed. But also, in addition to that, our local government is our last line of defense, right?
Absolutely.
So they're the ones that protect us when things get handed down arbitrarily. They actually decide where the funding is going from the city school district for schools, right? And then city council decides where the funding's going for the city, and things of that nature. And so exactly what you said, 4 votes, that's resolutions passed. And then we are the last line of defense when we get to local government. They're the only people that can really protect us, obviously, other than ourselves, but they're the last systemic line of protection for us.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to understand that, because I don't think a lot of people even know what that means. Like, they feel
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it gets called from this branch of government, so we have to do it now. It takes effect
Right.
immediately. And it's like, whoa, we can challenge that. There's some people who can question that. And let's
Mm-hmm.
slow down. Let's not, so I think it's important for people to understand and realize some of those things, so then that way we can kind of breathe a little bit and understand that, like, things in the world may be a little bit crazy, but it hasn't hit home yet. And we need to
Mm-hmm.
be proactive and not reactive.
Absolutely. And then I think I got I think that those were all the questions that I had for you.
Okay.
I think that was it. Did
Thank you.
I? Do you think you got to share enough of your platform and what you represent?
So honestly, no. I feel like,
Okay.
and again, like I've reached out to like 20, 25 different people, and I want to continue to do this because I know everybody is gonna have different questions. You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to answer any questions just like running my mouth. I want to hear from people who legitimately have concerns, and also want to hear from people who doubt. You know what I mean? I want to hear from people who feel like, man, ain't no way. Like this dude, he do way too much. You know what I mean? I understand who I am, and I see what I have going on, so I can understand like people having some things to say. But I would love to hear from those people, because I feel like it should be more people in this race. I feel like it should be more people of our generation in this race who are putting their hats out. I mean, who are putting their necks out there. So like, what I would like for people to understand is this is not a popularity contest for me. Um, this is not like me trying to take advantage of any systems or anything like that. Like what I will explain, and I'm not sure if this is good or bad to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like I don't have to do these things. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
my resume is pretty good. You know what I mean? I just got my master's degree. I've been working a drug and alcohol counselor for 12 and a half years. I work for the Department of Correction. I have my own nonprofit. I have a for-profit. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I have experience working with children. I have experience working with adults. I have experience working with individuals with intellectual disabilities. I worked in a school. I worked in a rehab. I've worked in a university. I've worked in a prison. I have a very good reputation in the city of Erie. I have a lot of people who have vouched for me and advocate for me in the event that, let's say, I just wanted to get me a job at Erie Insurance and just go corporate and just, get raises every year and just ride out into the sunset. Like I do have the credentials to be able to do that. I have the skill set to be able to do that. So this isn't about me like, oh, trying to if I wanted to big myself up, I could just take off from here. You know what I mean? Like it's sad to say, but like there are not a lot of black men who are 38 years old who live in the city of Erie with a master's degree. So there are a lot of organizations who would love to just have me, even if it's just for a checkbox. You know what I mean? To have that demographic. So I
Mhm.
just want that to be put out there because this is not for me to stroke my ego, but this is legitimately because I've have access to information. I've learned a lot of different things. I've seen the way
Mhm.
things have worked around here in the past. I see how they work around here now, and I want to see things change. And I'm not going to ask anybody to make those changes for me if I can feel like I can do them on my own. But when I say doing my own, I just mean being able to get the information and relay it to us because we're not receiving all the information that we're supposed to be receiving. And that's just based on
Yeah.
conversations that I've had with people who have sat in those seats, who
Mhm.
are sitting in those seats, and then even people who just don't care enough to argue or fight for it. So this is about me putting myself out there for other people in the city of Erie who have the want. You know what I mean? They have the drive to go accomplish things, but they just don't know where to find the resources, or they need help and they feel like they're not being listened to or they're not being heard, or they
Mhm.
don't want to put their faces out there, but they want somebody to speak for them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people want to be behind the scenes. Like it's people behind me that's like, listen, bro, I will help you every step of the way. Just I don't want my face in no pictures. I don't want my name to be said. And I want to do it for people like that because those are the people who have like the most to say, the most insight, the most information. And again, like it's a lot of people who are underdogs or who have made mistakes in their lives before that have a lot of sense in they feel like they can't put themselves out there. So it's just more of a me putting myself out there for people who need it, for people who
Mhm.
want to but can't. And for the city of Erie, it's not a black thing, it's not a man thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a woman thing. It's a legitimately city of Erie thing. There's a lot of great things that
Mhm.
happens here. I enjoy Erie, Pennsylvania. I've been living in Erie my entire life. I enjoy
Mhm.
seeing the four seasons. I go to all the events. I don't let anybody isolate me from any events. I don't feel like any event that's here is for one crowd and not for another. I'm
Mhm.
talking we're on the shore to, you know
Mhm.
what I mean, to ice skating, to fishing, to flying
Mhm.
kites, to whatever the case may be. We're one community, and we have there's so many different cultures within here. We can bring it together. So that's my whole purpose and my whole goal. And I hope that does not sound bad, but like I did want to put that out there. Like I do not have it comes with a lot of headache, comes with a lot of
Yeah.
scrutiny, and I got a lot of stuff with me. I'm still working on me too. So I'm already
Yeah.
seeing my name come up in different posts that have nothing to do with me. So
Mhm.
like I said, I need the support of the people. I need people to understand that it's bigger than me. I want our sons and our daughters to look at me and be like, yo, like, who is that dude? Look at him. He's a elected official. What?
Mhm.
That dude? Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like for that, because
Mhm.
there were people who did it for me. Like growing up in Erie, there were men who played a major role in my development as a man. And I would be letting them down if I just went corporate, but I
Yeah.
can. I don't want to. I refuse to. You know what I mean? It would be a disservice to myself. It would be a disservice to my city. So again, this is bigger than me. It's about us. And when I've been posting a lot, like, if not you, then who? Like when I
Mhm.
something I say to myself every single day, and I want every single person to understand that as well. Like, it's not about me. It's also about you. And if you're not
Yeah.
gonna do it, then who's gonna do it? And if I just gotta be the voice and you want to tell me and I be the face as well, I need to get it from you. If I don't know what's going on in your community, Angel, if you
Mhm.
don't tell me. And if you're not gonna tell me, then who's gonna tell me? And that goes for
Yeah.
any community, any demographic, any population in the city of Erie. If you're not gonna be the person to speak for your people, then who's gonna do it and what are you waiting for?
That part. So that actually brought me one question I do want to ask you then, right? Because I think when we're talking about being a revolutionary in this space, how are you going to take care of yourself during this process so that the scrutiny, so that the voices, so that the good or bad doesn't affect the mission for you?
Okay. So what I've learned and what I'm learning is, because I'm connected to a lot of people, is the City Council. I don't have to respond immediately. I work out every day, you know what I mean, just to keep my mind and my body together. Um, and then if I'm going through a rough time, like, there are legitimate people, like, yo, I need a moment. Like, I still got my therapist on speed dial. You know what I mean? So I reach out to her, yo, Carmela, we need to have a session immediately. Like, it's going crazy. Um, and then I just renew my lights. I'm gonna go to the gun range. You know what I mean? Just do some things that's healthy for me. But yeah, I have a lot. There are a lot. I wish I could throw some names. They don't want their names said, but when I tell you, like, there are a lot of people who, like, yo, bro, I got you, man. Don't crash out. Don't melt
Yes.
down. I don't care what time it is. Give me a call. That's men. That's women. You know what I mean? Like, I have people who are supporting me to where, like, they believe in me. They're trusting me and they're allowing me to trust them to where I can tell them what's going on with me and not worry about being judged or them understanding that, like, yo, these people finna put you through hell because you want this seat. And it's gonna be good too. You know what I mean? It's overwhelming. So I have a council. I have a kitchen, as we call it. I have a kitchen cabinet that I resort to in the times of distress and in times of need.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I just want to say on behalf of me, my household, and I think I could speak for the people in my circles that we are proud of you. We're behind you. I ain't signed your petition yet, but we'll link up. I'll sign it for you. Definitely voting for you. I'm having some issues on who I'm voting for, but in our household, you are definitively one of them. So
I appreciate it.
thank you for running for all of us, Erieites, and trying to get us to a point of community where we can really, really start to build. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you. I appreciate you coming on here to ask me those questions. I was waiting for a curveball. So I'm like, she gonna get some, she gonna get me where you know what I mean? But I appreciate it. And I know I gotta work on this as well. And like I said, I've reached out to a bunch of different people. So this is something that we're gonna continue to do. I'm gonna continue to have people come on here and interview me and ask questions in the process of us doing a social experiment, because I'm still highlighting different men and I'm waiting for somebody to get well so we can, we can roll out and we can talk about the men building men initiative that we have going on, because I think that's important as well. Us for this, like, to be able to start relying and leaning on one another. So appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate the people who watched. I appreciate the people who shared. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be fun. But like I said, again, I'm gonna continue to say I need the support of the entire community. Like when it's registering to vote. And this is another thing that I'm learning too. That I'm not. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, I have to ask for donations. I'm waiting for my Act Blue stuff to come through, asking for donations. And Susanna Faulkner, she slipped me a check. She wrote it off to the committee or whatever. But she, like, Deontay, I'm so proud of you. So Susanna looked out for me. She took care of me when it came to that. But like, that's what I'm gonna need. So even if you can't donate, like, share this stuff. When I'm talking about me wanting to run, they say name recognition is important. Share it. You know what I mean? Talk about me. Let people know I'm running. I'm open to having conversations. Even if people want to be a guest on the show to interview me, like, I need the support of the community. If you see me acting dumb or if you see me doing something I'm about to, I have no business doing, like, pull me to the side and understand, like, and just remind me it's bigger than you. I tell people that all the time, it's bigger than you. And I need people telling me that. I need people pushing me like how I push other people, like, more than I've ever needed in my, and I've never asked for this much help from just strangers, but I know at this time in my life and the things that I'm doing, and I really feel like this is a historical moment. I need all the support that I can get from anybody who cares enough to support me.
Absolutely.
So with that
Well,
being
thank you,
said, I'm gonna
sir.
allow you to go ahead and take care of business. And I'll go
Thank
for a
you.
couple minutes by myself, but thank you again for coming on the show. It was greatly appreciated. So there you have it. We finished. We wrapped up the interview with Angel Spraggins. It was definitely great. You know, got some good questions. Hopefully, I was able to answer all the questions to people, to the people's liking, so you can get a better understanding of me. Gain a better grasp of why I am running for city council. I need the support of every single person that's watching. Anybody who signed a petition, thank you. People who are floating a petition, thank you. We're gonna continue to move forward. I'm gonna be more present in the community. I'll be at Chuck Nelson is having an event tomorrow at 5 Iron Golf, so I'll be over there. I got the times in my computer, so I'm gonna share it to a post once I get off of here. But thank you, Angel, for coming on here to interview me. And if there's any, I've sent out about 25 invitations for different people to interview me. I am going through the list and I'm reaching back out to people, but also if there's anybody else who will be interested in, you know, coming on here to ask some questions or even sharing some of their opinions about it, please reach out to me. Excuse me. Again, this is bigger than me. This is about us. I'm not doing this for just me. I'm doing this for all of us. So thank you to everybody who joined in today. It's going to be on YouTube. They cutting videos after a certain amount of days or whatever the case may be. So you'll be able to find this video on YouTube as well on the Social Experiment channel. But if you have any more questions or if anybody has wants to come on the show to interview me, feel free to reach out. I'd like to make myself available to the people who care. Have a good day.